Hello. How are you? This is Els coming from Venus Crafty Corner. And today we have this little bit for you. And it's on a swivel, so it'll turn. So you can put this in any direction. And it has a nice big clip on it, so you can clip it onto a journal or, anything else you want to use it on. So we're going to be using this. So I have some supplies I'm going to get out. And then I'll be back and we'll talk about how to put this together. We're going to do it a couple of different ways, but we'll talk about how to do this, okay? I'll be right back. So what do we need? Well, obviously, we need the clasps. We've got some here. We need some ribbon, lace, trims, all of that stuff. Needle and thread. No major sewing technique here, just up and down, okay? Hot glue gun, pair of scissors, some buttons, preferably flat backs. I'll show you how to use a shank if that's what you've got, and some, some bling. All right, that's pretty much the basics here. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing we want to do is decide how long do we want this. The original one I did is just a few inches long. This is literally from the top of the clasp. It's only like 5 inches, 4.5 inches, okay? So we have to decide how long do we want this, because we're going to cut our lace at least twice that distance, and we want the lace to be cut unevenly, So let's start with some of this tea-dyed. And we're just going to grab a couple of pieces of this. We're going to make this one a little bit longer. So, I'm just going to cut it up. So this is a great way to get rid of like those little scraps of lace that you have. So if you have like a lot of scraps of lace in your little lace box, this is a great way to get rid of some of those, okay? And then grab this piece. That's just some knit lace. We've got some white eyelet lace here. Take a piece of this. Whoop. And let's see. What do we got in here? Well, we have some of this. What the heck? Why not? I typically like to do it where you've got double-sided lace, but, any piece will do. All right, so now that I have my lace, I'm just going to kind of stack it up. Just like that. And then I'm just going to put it through my piece. And you can see this has a very large opening, so it makes this very easy to do. Now you can put it through one piece at a time. You can put it through a couple of pieces at a time, however you want to do this. Okay? And once you have it all through there, you can kind of, mush it around a little bit. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to use the applique. So we're just going to put an applique on top, and then we're just going to stitch. We're going to start at the back, come up through the applique, and then go back down. And we're going to do this about 4 or 5 times, just to make sure that we've got it on there well. Told you, no major sewing skills here. This is just up and down. Okay. And then when we get to the back, we're just going to tie it off. And I do that by just taking a small stitch and then taking my thread edge and just wrapping it around my needle like 2-3 times. And then just pulling the needle through. And that just goes ahead and ties it nice and tight. I'm going to trim the thread off. And then I want to dress it up just a little bit. So first things first, let's trim some of our edges because that's ridiculous. There we go. And then I'm going to glue one of these little dots on. So I'm just going to grab a dot. I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the center of the applique. Put the dot in, hold it for a second, and there it is. Simple, easy peasy, ready to go. I can put it on whatever I want, okay? So now we're going to do it a different way using the button, and I'll be right back. Right back. All right, we're back. So what I have here is just a pile of everything. I have some ribbon in here. I have some lace in here, some rickrack in here, some seam binding, some hem tape. I mean, there's literally everything, okay? And they're all just, you know, smaller pieces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them through just like I did before. Okay, twist this together because it makes it easier to put it through. And there is a trick. If you want to get this through really easy, just wrap a piece of thread around it and pull it through. But I'm not quite to that point yet. There we go. All right, so I got all that through. I'm going to find about my midpoint. Okay, I like that. And then I'm just going to clip this real quick because we're going to talk about the needle. So we're not going to actually sew this one. We're going to wrap it, and then we're going to put the button by just going through it a few dozen times. So I'm going to use a bigger needle because it'll just make it easier to get the thread through the button. Okay, so I'm going to hold all this. I'm going to hold about an inch, inch and a half of my string here. I'm going to wrap it around about 3-4 times. Okay, then I'm just going to tie a square knot. You know, right over left, left over right, or left over right, right over left, whichever way you go. And then I'm going to leave that on there. And now I'm going to put my button on here. By just sewing through, going around, going through the button. Okay? Going around, going through the button. I'm going to do that like 3-4 times. And I'm just going to make sure that I keep it nice and tight. Okay? Once I've gone through it about 3-4 times, then I'm going to go to the back, right behind the button where my strings are. Make sure I have all of this out of the way. And I'm just going to tie another double knot. Right over left, left over right. And now this is entirely up to you. If you want to leave the thread on there, you can leave the thread on there. Mine's gold, so it actually adds a little bit, but it's the only gold I have, so I'm going to cut it. Okay. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to look at my ends. This one needs to be a little bit shorter, as does this one and this one. There we go. So now I have my little tassel with a little butterfly on it. And look how thick and full and pretty it is. Okay, so that's it. That's 2 ways of doing this. That's all I got for today. That's it. So let's bring out the one that we did. And the original. So there they are, 3 different ways of doing it. If you like this project, leave me a comment. If you don't like this project, that's fine too. Leave me another comment saying I didn't like it. Whatever. It's all interaction to me. If you're new here and you haven't done so already, hit the button for me and subscribe. Like me, ring my bell, share me with all your friends. Check out my community tab. It's going to tell you everything that I've got coming up, everything that's going on, where I'm traveling to, when I'm traveling, all that stuff. It's all listed there. As you know, those things become available. And check out my Facebook group. There's a link to that in the description box below. Until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.